horny Egyptian princesses, haunted hotels, a town's hidden secret, vengeful ghosts of evil fat kids, and Satan himself. What horrors await us inside the 6-film collection known only as Everlasting Evils? We watch something today on
The f*** is this? I grew up on these games, and this is sacrilege to me.
I really hope my Donkey Kong diatribe.
Oh, I cut that.
Oh,
Okay,
wonderful.
wonderful.
What other video game characters do we think love the thoughts?
Jill Valentine from Resident Evil.
Yeah?
She's
Definitely.
a thirsty girl.
Yeah, she's
I
got a...
Some of the Star Fox characters for sure. Andros for sure. He's just a big head.
How does that even work?
Big head's got to get the head.
Does he have orifices?
I don't know.
He loves the head, and he turns into brain. So there we go.
Mm-hmm.
More of the, this is our strongest opening yet.
Magikarp.
Yeah, that's a very fuckable mouth.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then things only get worse when Gyarados is introduced.
I knew a girl like that once.
like a Magikarp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just flopped around in there, and then eventually, watch out, guys.
Completely useless until you pissed her off. And
Absolutely.
yeah. Wow, we're alienating every possible demographic with this one. Yeah. Women,
Magikarp used leader.
Pokemon trainers. Pokemon trainers aren't going to like this episode. It's not going to be any good.
Oh, that tree boss from Kirby that just had like the hole. It's basically just a glory hole in the woods.
Yeah, I've run out of steam. Anyway,
Have fun editing this opening.
God. I am going to...
I'm looking forward to this being cut.
I am selectively editing the majority of this. Of course, the great irony is that so much of what we were talking about in the lobby is like instantly funnier than what this is. As soon as like the pressure is on to be all like, have a normal conversation, we can't think of anything in which
if we could have bottled that conversation in the lobby.
This is why I need to record everything at all times, and then I can just pipe it in.
Doesn't
right
your
here.
phone do that for you already? Don't all our phones do that for us already?
Welcome back, however you wish to self-identify.
Get Google on the horn. We need
Get Google on the horn. So I forgot to do
We need our audio from like an hour and a half ago.
That's right. I got to do my Halloween open here, my cold Halloween open. Welcome back, however you wish to self-identify.
Oh, good one.
It's really hard. It's really hard. I could have done It's going to be a lot better when I edit in the flame sound effects underneath it. It's going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. It's going to knock your cock off. This is going to be a very blue,
phallic.
It's going to be a very blue episode that we're doing here, yes. But no, welcome back to The Fright Is This presents 2 months of Halloween: War on Christmas 2. The subtitles are just getting longer and longer.
Yeah.
With every subsequent year, I feel like we need to add more colons.
Sure.
To this.
I say that to myself every year.
Until the 5th year, where there'll be no colons.
5 colons.
No colon. We'll go on a colon cleanse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm your host, Kaz Lescard, and joining me always is Jameson Rafter.
How you doing, beautiful people out there?
How are you doing, beautiful people out? Just the beautiful people answer.
They can't reply back to us.
They could.
Let's open the phone lines. Hello, caller. Hello, beautiful people. You're on the air.
We won't hear them, but we can leave a spot in the episode for them to answer. Beautiful people, how you doing? Just the beautiful people. Shut up! Shut up, Uggos! Anyway, yes. This is the second episode we're doing of our Halloween haunt. Halloween Spooktacular, which is a title that I feel everyone uses around this time. But we're different because we're the only one that starts doing it in September, when absolutely is no one thinking about Halloween whatsoever unless you look outside and you gape into the hellmouth that currently is our reality.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say nothing spooky ever happens in September, and lo and behold, like fucking forest fire smoke is billowing through our town right now.
Example one, everything.
It looks like fucking Silent Hill out there.
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Of course, that melodious voice that you just heard is our special guest, a very special guest, the first member of the Two Timers Club here on the show, the first recurring guest who was on an episode that we released. So technically our first recurring guest, she is the front woman for the Vancouver-based tampon core punk band, the See You Next Tuesdays. Jack Havok is back.
Jack's back. Jack's okay.
She's
in the studio.
Nice to see you again, Jack.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
What do you think of our new digs?
It's awesome. It looks great.
Beats the
super
hell
nice
out of my
that-
apartment, right?
You've got a nice apartment, but it just doesn't have the sound. You know,
Proofing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. What a difference a year makes. And
I thought you said ear, and I was like, oh. And then I'm like, no, he said ear. You just need to get your ears cleaned out.
Good listening
Speaking
skills.
of ears, yeah. Oh man, how you doing? How you doing, Jackers?
Oh, you know, living the dream. You know, the post-apocalypse was not. This isn't really what I was
No.
expecting.
It's a lot more mundane and boring than we thought it was going to be.
I was hoping there was going to be more fighting in the streets and Mad Max and like drag racing or something fun.
Well,
but,
give it time.
yeah.
You know, I think
or
that's
going to the
maybe next
States.
year.
if we make it.
If
If
we
we
make it.
indeed make it. That's the big asterisk that keeps showing up in most of the things. Like I've as someone who is so movie focused as I am, I've kind of stopped watching movie trailers and like coming attractions. Like two separate people texted me the other day when the Dune trailer dropped, and they were like, "This looks amazing," and I'm just like, I don't want to watch it because I'm still not certain we'll all be here when Dune gets released. So I'd rather not get my expectations
I just watched
up.
it for the first time last night.
Was it good?
It was good. I didn't really know what to expect because I had just seen Tremors a couple weeks ago, so I was like,
Right. And Dune
what,
is a-
fucking more sandworms?
And
Were
Dune is-
sandworms just a thing in the 80s?
And Dune is a remake of Tremors, of course, yes?
Apparently.
Apparently
yeah.
so, yeah.
Kevin
good.
Bacon gets a lot more brunette.
It's a little weird that they didn't ask Kevin Bacon to come back for it. Maybe he'll be a cameo. The Spice Melange.
Good Christ. I mean, I saw that Dune trailer, and I just have, like, so many bad memories of the original Dune movie.
I like that movie.
But we've been on this before about my fucking David Lynch hang-ups.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Not a fan.
No, not a fan of him in general. Huh?
I mean, like, not the man seems fine. He seems very creative. I think, like, you know, the art that he does is not.
Okay.
It's not my kind of movie.
No, it's absolutely not for anyone. You're not going to leave a David Lynch movie and feel good about anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's the perfect movies for right now. The
Yeah.
perfect feel-bad movies.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of
Feel
like.
bad
That's why I kind of like Dune in David Lynch's oeuvre, because it's one of the few movies that he himself does not really like, and you can kind of tell. And so it's sort of the outlier. I feel like it's a good starter movie for
Yeah.
people to get into Lynch.
But I've also, like, never read the book. And,
No, I haven't either.
Yeah.
That looks laborious.
Yeah, Sherry had read the book, and we watched that movie last year. I've seen the movie beforehand, and I was like, oh, I don't really know if I want to sit through that movie again. And she's like, oh, I love the book. I've never seen the movie. Can we watch it? And I'm like, okay. And we watched it, and I think about, like, 20 minutes, she was like, oh, no.
It is a movie within the first 5 minutes. Talking vagina monster does show up. So yeah, it's
I thought
not
it
the
looked
most.
like a dick.
Well, you
It
know,
was like a really mangled dick. He had that little, like, dick hole mouth. And it was, like, slimy. And I was just like, okay, maybe I haven't been getting out enough.
speaking of
but,
fuckable
like...
characters,
Yeah, really.
there's a little something there for everyone.
Creepy little hands.
Well, Jack, I'm very excited to have you back. I'm very excited for this episode in particular. This is something that I've been sitting on since March. I found this particular object in a dollar box outside of good old Black Dog Video, and as soon as I saw it was paid, I'm a loony, and I'm all like, cool, I'm sitting on this until next Halloween, so I'm very excited for this.
You are super excited. You wouldn't even let me see the title
No,
of this
we
movie.
are truly doing something that we have never done on this podcast before. This is something that is brand new. We have never attempted it because when we started this podcast, it was sort of to honor the feeling of, you know, being in a video store and grabbing a DVD and holding it in your hands and reading the back cover and looking it over. And, you know, that feeling that comes over you where you say to yourself, what the fuck is this? What minds gathered together to produce this? And I really feel like today we're going to be doing something that truly exemplifies that feeling.
Excellent.
So what we got going on today, I have two things. These are my two things. What I have...
Number one thing.
Number one thing. Thing number one. I have 6 movies over 2 DVDs on a DVD set that is called Pendulum Pictures Presents Everlasting Evils.
Ooh.
And thing number 2, I have a 6-sided die.
Oh.
So, on this show, in the past, we have watched movies that I have brought, we have watched movies that you have brought, we have watched movies that guests have decided. But today, on the show, for the first time, the movie we watch will be decided by fate.
Decide by dice roll. I
Yes,
got it.
and there's nothing more spookier than that. And of course, we're doing it at the spookiest time of day, 2:30 in the afternoon.
On a September
Saturday.
afternoon.
On a September.
The 12th.
On a September. All right, so here's the deal. Here's how this is going to work. 6 movies, and on the back of the box, we have breakdowns, we have synopsis. Thank
Yeah.
you. There's my brain. They all have synopsises.
Synopses.
Synopsi. So,
Fight me, coward.
debate me. So what I thought might be fun is I'm going to pass this around, and we're all going to take turns reading the title of a movie and then the synopsis and then maybe the runtime.
Okay.
So Jack, would you like to start with the top one here? And feel free to do it in your best improvised Halloween-type voice.
Oh, this is
or
good,
not,
good.
whatever, it's fine.
All right, this one is called Invitation. Oh, God, that was
Nothing
so
scary.
bad.
I hate being invited to things, so that's perfect.
know,
I hate
me
going
too.
places, so
No,
Social
COVID,
anxiety.
it's a movie for our time, yes.
A group of friends torment the neighborhood kid during a baseball game that accidentally leads to his death. 15 years later, a mysterious invitation calls the gang back together. They soon discover the truth about the invitation and must fight for their lives.
Good little revenge story there.
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
Jameson, you go
Sure.
next. I think you might have pleasantly edited that one, because the synopsis actually says it's the neighborhood fat kid. They really do narrow that down.
It does say the neighborhood.
The
fat
neighborhood
kid.
fat kid. So let's
No,
just.
I
felt
This
bad
isn't.
for him.
I know
It's-
you do. These aren't our views.
Yeah.
This is
true.
what the DVD says.
Yeah.
Don't let them body shame you. You're beautiful.
Yeah, the neighborhood big chungus. All right.
Neighborhood chonk lord.
Yeah. All right. The second movie that we may be watching today is called Blood Rites. Rachel, a young and beautiful teenager, moves with her father to a small New England town of White Cross. Unbeknownst to them, White Cross hides a terrible secret. In order to survive, Rachel must learn the town's horrible secrets before it's too late. This synopsis is missing a lot of, necessary punctuation. It's kind of just like one big run-on sentence here. 2005, 95 minutes.
Yeah. All right. The next one is called Death from Beyond. Nefertiti, the demon princess of Egypt, has possessed Marsha and has now been released upon the 21st century. John Robin and their film crew have fallen into Marsha's demonic clutches when they decide to film in her apartment. Now they must control their own lustful sexual urges, or they will become the next victims of Nefertiti, the demon princess of Egypt. This movie is 60 minutes long, which I am going to say barely makes it a movie.
It sounds like
It's an episode of something.
Yeah.
it's horror porn by the sound of it.
This one may just straight up be porn. All right, next one.
All right. Deadly Memories. 2 years ago, a trio of teenage joyriders caused a devastating car rash.
Car rash. Oh, man.
Oh.
You don't want to get one of those.
Oh, those long
Damn
car
car
rides.
Nothing's more
rashes.
embarrassing than driving around in a rashy car.
Oh, I was just gonna say that that's when you're on a long road trip and it's like a bed sore, but after long road trips.
Crazy car crash. Why do I say car crash?
All right, I got this.
That took the life of Art Gary's wife and left his daughter Sally in a coma. Now someone is taking the law in their own hands against the teens and anyone who tries to tangle with Art Gary. I also love how on the bottom of this box it says, Deadly Memories, only Only one good.
Yes, okay.
I noticed that too.
Before we move on, let's talk about this. Yes, so whoever owned this before, there is a green sticker. I'll take a photo of this and I'll put it on the Instagram so everyone listening can see this here, because it's kind of amazing. Yeah, there's a big green sticker at the bottom of this DVD, and someone apparently who is writing with their non-dominant hand has written at the very bottom, "Deadly memories, only one good." But what's twice as funny about this is that they very clearly originally wrote that sentence properly. They started writing "deadly memories, only good one," took a look at it, then went, "No, that's not right. Scratch it out. Only one good." That sounds better.
I like when we have this anthology movie collection here, and there's a warning on the bottom.
It is. Yeah. This really does feel like a cursed object. Someone has literally warned us at the very bottom. There's a tome of warning at the very bottom
Let's
here.
just hope we roll 3, otherwise we'll be doomed.
Since we're on Deadly Memory, there's 2 other movies we want to talk about here, but since we're on the subject of Deadly Memories, and I acknowledge I'm going to talk about a movie that we have a 17% chance of watching, but it is, out of all the movies here, it is the only one that is remotely interesting. So let me just talk super briefly about Deadly Memories. Deadly Memories is directed by Donald Farmer. Here's a list of some of the other films he's directed: Shark Exorcist, Dorm of the Dead, Chainsaw Cheerleaders, Hooker with a Hacksaw, Cannibal Hookers,
With a hacksaw.
Cannibal Cop, Vampire Cop, and of course, An Erotic Vampire in Paris.
I don't know who this man is, but I really want to be friends with him.
Yep. I would also be happy watching probably any of these than what fate decides we end up watching.
I was kind of hoping it was going to say Jesus Christ, zombie killer or vampire slayer.
Oh yeah.
Kaz, you could have just made an executive decision to we're going to watch this movie today. Why leave it up to Dice? You came prepared with all the director's filmography here.
Yeah, on the off. Well, because I looked up all the directors for this, and I'm all like, no one, nothing. Shark Exorcist. All right, I also want to mention that Deadly Memories is the only one that has an actor in it that would be remotely recognizable by anyone. The maniac cop himself,
Robert Zadar.
Robert Zadar
Hell
is in this movie.
He's great.
Have you seen a photo of what Robert Zadar looks like?
I don't think so.
He is literally a Dick Tracy villain.
Oh my god! Does he have filler?
That's not fair to say.
That's just his face.
That's just his face.
He's just got a very recognizable face.
He's got a head shaped like a cinder block.
He seems like a nice man.
He seems like a perfectly nice man, and we're not making fun of him.
Yes, you are.
Well, he'll never hear this. All right, second to last one. All right. He's heard worse than that from shittier people than I. All right.
The Innocent, the Robert Zadar story. Jesus Christ. Little does a group of university students know what is waiting for them at a derelict hotel.
Make it spookier.
The further they explore, things do not appear to be as they seem, chilling to the bone and disturbing at best. The Innocent portrays an eerie real world that doesn't make sense until it's too late. 70 minutes. English 4, color 3, stereo 2005.
Ooh, stereo. The scariest of sound.
Stereo.
All right, cool. All right. Hey, I'm a werewolf. Hey, how's it going? I'm a werewolf. I got claws and fangs. Here's the last movie. I'm a werewolf.
Make it scarier, Kaz.
What are you talking about? I'm a werewolf. Ow, howling on the moon.
Hey, I'm howling over here.
Hey, I'm a teen wolf. I'm playing basketball. The final movie is Siege of Evil. Young Sarah Logan decides to dabble in EVP, electronic voiced phenomena, using an old tape recorder to record the voices of the dead from haunted locations. After visiting an old satanic church, she returns home to find threatening voices on the recorder. The forces of darkness are gathering, and no one is who they seem to be as the family falls under a siege of evil. 85 minutes.
Cool.
So there we go. Those are the potential movies that we're watching. This will either be a great idea or the worst idea I've ever had. This will be an entirely random selection of what we're going to watch, kind of exactly like what they do over at Red Letter Media, just throwing
wheel of the worst, yeah.
more fuel on the fire that
Yeah.
we are just basically ripping those guys off.
Yeah.
But
Whatever.
There's no original ideas anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make sure you hold on to that DVD because we're gonna be diving back to this well until we finish the entire collection.
I mean, I'm glad you mentioned it. That was my hope anyway. That maybe this become maybe a little Halloween tradition that we start here.
Much like our current Halloween tradition where we watch 4 movies
traditions
for 2
within
months.
traditions. My original plan was potentially maybe seeing if I could find a Ouija board.
I had one at home. You could have just asked me.
But then I also thought, I don't know if that's great for a podcast. I feel like that's a lot of dead air.
We could bullshit our way to it like,
Or
what's it
screaming.
saying?
Oh, what's it happening now? You know what? Now that I know that you have, I should have just assumed that you had one.
I'm creepy. Of course I would have one. I've got 2 actually. I've been
Oh,
holding
wow. All right.
I was gonna. I bought 2.
Did you ever, like,
because I
set
was
them up, like,
drunk
next to each other?
purchasing. I was really shit-faced, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I need a fucking Ouija board."
You know, this is all. We don't have any cameras in
Ordered
here.
2.
This could have been theater of the mind, and we could have all just like play acted like we have a Ouija board.
Yeah.
That's true.
Way to give up the game, Kaz.
Do you set your Ouija boards like next to each other and like see if you can get like double the ghosts?
That would be horrible.
Like dual monitor
You're
for
not
a
even
piece.
supposed to play by yourself, so
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't fuck around with those guys.
Were
I'm like,
you
I'm not
murdered-
summoning a demon today.
Were you
Summoning.
murdered in this house? Yes. Don't
No.
listen to him. He's a liar. Shut up, Gary.
Playing Ouija board by yourself would be so sad.
Yeah, it's like, please talk to me. I just need a friend.
So I looked up pendulum pictures, and they seem to only exist to do exactly this. They have like a whole series of collections of just like Z-grade horror movies, and they throw them 6 at a time on DVD collections, including collections like Demented Deviants, which has titles like Nutcracker, An American Nightmare, or Mental Maniacs, which has titles like Mayhem Motel, or Fatal Femmes, which has one of my favorite titles, Catholic Ghoul Girls.
Oh my god.
And it also has, look at this, the recent Best Picture winner, Parasite. That must be what that means, right? Look, Parasite. There can't be 2 titles named Parasite.
Oh,
There we
no.
go. Or, if you just want to buy in bulk and you don't like the whole 6 DVD thing, you can always splurge for Decrepit Crypt of Nightmares, which is Pendulum Pictures' 50 movie collection.
Holy
that
shit.
you can buy on Amazon.
no.
What a deal in this economy!
What a steal. Who can
my
say?
In this pandemic?
My goodness. Well,
Who
there's
needs
a lot of companies that do that, right?
Oh, yeah,
They just
definitely.
buy up a lot of schlocky horror movies that aren't ever going to make their money back. So there's let's just assemble them all in one big collection and
What
get
are
a
we
dollar off
doing
a sap
here?
named Kaz when he walks by a box of.
I'm the target demographic, yeah.
Yeah.
I looked up all of these individually. Some of them have DVD cover art. Others barely have an IMDb page. One of them, The Innocent, is the title of 25 other movies that are also called The Innocent. And the synopsis is super vague. So, I think I know which Innocent we're watching, but I can't 100% be certain. Also, I feel like it's fair to mention at this point right here, for those of you listening on Spotify who aren't aware, we also have
Or YouTube. You keep forgetting our YouTube.
No, this is what I was about to say. We also have a YouTube version of the show that is a lot more visual, but for this case, I get a lot of the visuals off of the internet. I can't, for whatever reason, I can't take screenshots off of a DVD. This may be the one episode that has, the least amount of pictures available.
Yeah.
They're either going to be, bad screenshots from my phone, or out of context, just stock photos that kind of describe
Paint the
what's
picture.
happening in the thing, which I think is the funner idea. So if you're watching this on YouTube, sorry, or you're welcome. I haven't decided. But anyway, it's time to decide.
Well,
Speaking
before you
of deciding.
I'm going to record this so no one knows so no one thinks that we're
Should
cheating
we
the
all
dice
rub
roll.
the dice?
Oh,
a little
okay,
bit?
cool. Yeah.
Get a video of it. I'll post it in the YouTube thing.
All right, fair enough. Great. Jack, you are the guest, so why don't you
Give it a little rub.
do the honors?
Kiss
I'm
it.
gonna really
Hopefully-
Blowing the
it
dice for
here.
Oh.
Do you got
Hopefully
it?
we don't get anything crappy. I'm just gonna rub it
I mean,
on Jameson.
No.
I'm fairly certain
I like that.
we will. All right, it's 6, which means we're watching Siege of Evil,
Oh, God.
which is one of the ones that has the least amount of shit to talk about.
Lovely.
Lovely. All right, we're watching Siege of Evil. It's directed by Jeff Carney, whose only other directing credit of note is a documentary on the movie Night of the Living Dead. It stars nobody. As most of these
nobody
movies
or
probably
just...
do. There's no Robert Zadar in this one. It does have probably, out of the 6 of them, it has probably my favorite individual DVD poster cover. This is the actual DVD cover of Siege of Evil.
Oh, that is so
This is probably a snapshot into.
Oh no! We're gonna watch somebody's snuff film.
This is what we're watching. Yeah. Well.
Can you imagine if that happened? Somebody just accidentally buys a random thing that they think is a horror movie, and then they're like, "I'm gonna put it on my box set."
I mean, I'm
and
pretty
then it
sure
turns out it's a snuff film.
I'm fairly sure that's what's eventually going to happen with one of these DVD collections.
Yeah.
Can I just say,
yeah.
I'm kind of upset that we didn't roll 3 because you actually came prepared with the director and mentioning that there is a well-known person in this, and now that's all for nothing.
I kind of figured that would happen. Yeah. Well, but what was the other option? Not mention that and then wait a full year to maybe watch Deadly Memories?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that's just even more reason to keep coming back to this.
You hyped it up, you teased it, and now
it's probably going to be terrible.
No shit.
I mean, it's from the director of Shark Exorcist. So
it's a movie so bad that they had to budget it with a bunch of other movies to make it worth your money to get.
I have so many questions. Are the sharks possessed by the devil, or are demon sharks possessing humans?
Why not both?
Why not both?
I wonder if he's the guy that made Velocipaster.
I didn't see that listed on his IMDb. That's a movie. I just got the note today. The most recent How Did This Get Made episode is actually on Velocipaster. So I'm a little worried because our crossover with the movies that they do it is normally been fine, but they've been going on for so long. They're now starting to do the bottom of the barrel stuff, and I'm all like, damn, that's our territory.
Oh shit. We're fucked.
We
can't compete with the big dogs like that.
Well, I'll tell you one movie that How Did This Get Made is not going to be doing. Siege of fucking Evil. So we're going to go watch...
Take that, Jason Mantzoukas.
We're going to watch whatever the hell that is, and we'll be back and we'll tell you all about it, because that's what we do here. That is what we decided to do.
That's what you're here for, you maniacs.
Thanks a lot, Fate. Thanks a lot, Spirit of Halloween.
This is the worst 2020 ever.
Yeah, for this reason specifically. All right, let's do this.
Hey everyone, Kaz here, interrupting the wacky fun to bring you another charity shout-out. Now, something I feel very passionately about, as I've stated on this podcast before in the past, is showing support and solidarity to both sex workers and people within the pornography industry. Growing up and throughout our adolescences, my adolescence as well, we develop harmful and reductive patterns of thinking about prostitutes, escorts, and porn actors. It can take a lot of personal deprogramming and demystifying of the stigma surrounding this work for a lot of people to actually realize, oh, these are human beings doing this work, and in most of their cases, they're significantly more at risk than a lot of other jobs. The risks they face are multitudinous, from violence to psychological torture to something as innocuous as a B-tier celebrity charging an insane amount of money on OnlyFans, which in turn got that website to change its policy, meaning a lot of people for whom that was their main source of income are now kind of fucked. That's why this week, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm donating some cash to the PACE Society. They've served as a vital support service for sex workers in Vancouver. Their goal is harm reduction. They recognize that sex work is work, and they provide non-judgmental support based on sex workers' self-identified needs and goals. A lot of sex workers are impacted by homelessness and encounter social and structural barriers when they try to access service providers. The PACE Society is designed to address the complex health and social care that sex workers need, and they include one-to-one support, drop-in services, health navigation, and outreach services. Let's be honest here, people. We've all watched porn, but we don't always spend a ton of time thinking about the people that are in that porn. And while I've never used a sex worker, I support the hell out of them and their right to choose what they want to do with their lives. And I also support the ones who perhaps didn't choose that life and are looking for a way out or a better way to do that work that supports what they want out of their life. So give some money to the Pace Society, or do a Google search and donate money to another charity that supports sex workers, and, respect sex work, respect women, and respect trans women who are also women. To make a donation to the Pace Society, visit the website canadahelps.org/charities/pace-society. That's canadahelps.org/charities/pace-society. Back to the show.
One of my best friends just moved into my apartment building, so he lives 3 floors above me on the 4th floor.
Nice.
And yesterday I was getting stoned. He had just bought a mini lathe.
No.
What?
And he's like,
People
you'll
do
never
that?
believe what I got. I got this mini lathe. You gotta come upstairs and, help me set it up.
Mini lathe?
Lathe.
Lave.
For
okay.
for metalworking, right?
Okay.
And so I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And I'm on the phone with my mom, getting stoned. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go up and see Matt. And I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. So I ended up on the 3rd floor at this identical door. And I normally would just open up and walk into his place, but for whatever reason I knocked this time, and somebody completely different obviously answers. And this guy's like, hey. And I've seen him in the building a couple times, and I'm like, oh, hi. And he's like, what do you want? And I'm like, look at him, look at the number on the door, instantly go white. And he's like, well, unless you want to join in and make it a foursome, please go away. And I'm just like, oh my God, I just interrupted this guy's threesome.
Oh.
And then he invited me, half seriously, and I was just like, I'm on the phone with my mother, and I'm just like,
Gotta go, Mom.
and I'm walking away from the door, and I'm trying to laugh and tell
Your
her
mom
what
is
just
on
happened.
the other end of the phone. It's all like, these kind of opportunities so rarely come up. You gotta go for it.
You sound like you're busy, so I'll let you go, hon.
And he lives directly underneath Matt. So I'm sure he heard me going, oh my God, Matt, you'll never believe what happened.
Oh, he was underneath Matt, all right.
I would have joined in on that one.
I had a similar experience happen to me where I had a weirdly friendly lady. I work in a building with lots of other artists studios and stuff, and there's a guy who's a glass blower in the back. I think he makes weed pipes and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And occasionally his girlfriend comes by, and she's just one of those people where she'll just come up and start talking to you. And the first time she ever did that to me, I kind of had to stand there for a second. I'm trying to get a read on this woman. And then after about a minute of her talking, I'm all like, oh, you're just a weirdly intense person with no filter, but you're very nice. Okay, cool. I feel like I have a read on you now. She dropped by the other day and just kind of casually in the middle of, because I've also never said this on air before, but I recently got a new job this year working at a butt plug factory. That's the first time I've ever dropped that news on this podcast. So that's what I do right now. So I have a very candid way of speaking about what I do, and she was very interested, so I was telling her about the variety of products that we make at the thing. And right in the middle of this casual conversation, she just said, hey, have you ever been in a threesome? My boyfriend's got a really nice dick. That was one of the first things she ever said to me, which is why I was trying to get a read on her personality. Is all hey, do you make sex toys? Do you ever do 3D printing? My boyfriend has a really nice dick. That was the third sentence she said to me.
Oh my God.
And then she immediately just went all I'm just kidding, and she walked away, and I'm all I didn't say no. I mean,
that could have been a maybe.
It could have been a maybe. You didn't give me time to
get me drunk first.
She's she's just one of those people that just goes around and just casually offers threesomes. I might have said yes if I had said 2 words to her boyfriend, but didn't see the merchandise. So
hey,
I'm
man,
not gonna...
nice to meet you. Your girlfriend told me you had a nice dick, and I get to see it tonight. Man, yeah.
We keep waiting for the day where the glassblower guy comes into the studio, because now everyone at my work is aware of 2 things: he's dating this girl, and he has a very nice dick. That's just that's just common knowledge. I'm on my work. Yeah.
So Siege of Evil.
So Siege of Evil is a movie that we just watched. I don't know. You don't want to tell any potential threesome stories that you have?
I've turned down every threesome I've ever been invited to.
Really?
Yeah.
So multiple threesomes.
Okay,
wow,
so two times that I've been asked to be in part of a threesome.
You're just getting invited to orgies left, right, and center.
It was the same couple who asked me twice.
Oh, okay.
That's a little too familiar for me. And, as attractive as I thought the girl was, I wasn't ready to see that guy naked.
It's fun. I mean, I'm into guys, but it is funny how often in a threesome situation the guy is often the deal breaker.
Okay, well, sorry if that's my hang-up.
Can you tell that we're padding this out so we don't have to talk about fucking
This movie
Siege
was
of
so
Evil?
bad.
I mean,
the Microsoft Paint cloud smoke following people, and it's very obviously that spray can tool.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Just
that's
oh my
exactly
god,
what this
it's
is.
so bad.
Not only that, the actual iMovie credits fonts, this is very amateur. It's the same fucking software that I use to do our YouTube stuff, but at least I don't use the default font and the default black backdrop for our shit.
I feel like something that we at least recognize with every movie that we watch on this is, we watch these movies and we make fun of them, but I like to feel that we always understand that making movies is hard.
Yeah.
And it requires a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of people working together to make something. And I feel like every time we make fun of a movie on this show, there's always the caveat of we're, over here, we're poking fun at this, but we couldn't do what these people have done. So there's a certain amount of respect.
Yep.
We could absolutely make this movie that we just watched.
We should make this better, and I can't act my way out of a fucking paper bag.
I have basically no filmmaking background. I could make a movie of equal quality of Siege of Evil.
I've made a handful of animated films on my own.
Yeah.
One's even a feature length one, and I put more effort and care into making sure that the story had a good flow to it, that things were explained properly, that it wasn't boring for the viewer.
This movie was deathly boring, interspersed with moments of genuine delight and humor.
Yeah.
Because there were some good laugh out loud moments in this.
But certainly, unintentional laughs.
Yeah.
What this was a throwback to the era where people would have their home video camera.
Mm-hmm.
They would get their friends, not necessarily their acting friends, but just their friends who want to be in a movie.
No acting friends were available on the week that they filmed.
You want to be in my film, and I'll give you the bulk of the lines, and you'll just do it as because you're my friend, and you think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
And they'll just rush it and put it out on VHS, and it'll be sold. At the corner store for $1.
This movie was from 2005, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if this movie was in fact shot on one of those era-style camcorders.
Yeah, handy cam or whatever, yeah.
Well, and you can tell it's that era, too, because the amount of, hungry butt and dad jeans and horrible white fucking New Direction sneakers or whatever.
The phone clip that one guy had, and it wasn't a smartphone.
Oh, no.
Wasn't
that
a flip
was a
phone.
Nokia brick.
Yeah. That's the thing. If you, filmmakers got to start somewhere, but, at least, ask yourself, is this interesting for, if I could step back from, the director's chair and just watch it and say, is this interesting? Am I following this? When you write a screenplay, give it to a friend and ask for some notes. Mm-hmm. Maybe read a book or two on filmmaking and cinematography.
Or Satan, presumably. Because
really,
this was a movie that likes to go back to the Satan well quite a bit.
Nobody knows who Satan is.
No, and every time they tried to explain what Satan or Satanism was, it just became glaringly obvious that they don't.
Satanic supporters?
Yeah. Satanic support, that fucking killed me. So, this is a church, it was filled with satanic support. Not Satanists, just people who are, casually into weekend Satanists.
Yes, I myself do not believe in Satan, but I support your ambition to support Satan. Yeah, I respect you for wanting to do that.
And it always drives me nuts how, in these movies, it's always the devil himself, Satan himself. This guy has nothing fucking better to do than chasing around white kids who played around with a Ouija board or tried to voice record a ghost. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's the biggest
He's got
problem.
way better shit
That's
to
the
do.
biggest problem, the biggest narrative problem that all of these movies have. It's it's fun, do a movie about demonic possession, sure, whatever, that's a well-worn trope. But it's summon a demon. There are a multitude of demons. Yeah. Don't just go straight, never go full Satan. This movie went full Satan, and that was a big problem.
This had a lot of flavors of, this is a Christian movie, and nothing is scarier than the devil.
You read into that more than I did. Maybe. I don't think this is a Christian movie.
I'm sure the people who made this are, hardcore Christian.
I love
How do you come to that? to that?
Because they have a character who neither believes in God or the devil.
Yeah,
That
that's
is true. That was a line of dialogue. It was all like, I don't know of the God. I don't know of the God. I don't know of the devil. I don't know of any of this.
I don't understand.
But also, like, you know, like the main character, his wife, you know, she was like a ghost enthusiast or like an amateur paranormal investigator, like a hobbyist of that sort of thing. But she loved ghosts and paranormal stuff, and yet she had never heard of the devil. she never had like the concept of an afterlife or anything, but she loved ghosts. What the fuck do you think like all this like evil harbinger of death and stuff comes from?
And I mean, and that's why this film is so incredibly confused as well, because it seems like it's about the whole EVP phenomenon thing of like capturing ghost voices on recordings and then listening in back to it, but then midway through it's all like, no, this is a movie about Satan. It is about Satan.
And MS Paint smoke.
Not the ghosts and Satan. Different movies.
And energy
things going on.
And energy vampires.
Well,
and
and that her face the entire movie too, like the lead actress, like
actress.
she looks like she's smelling something bad the whole movie. That's like her default face is this. And it's just like, honey, like that, what are you doing?
And every time she had to get upset about something, she was always like a smidge too mad.
Yeah.
Like she snapped at her husband a lot, but like what it required was an actor trying to be like upset or annoyed or irritated about something. Every time she was mad at her husband, it looked like she wanted to rip his head off and piss down the hole. Like, it was,
I think Barry's playing a trick on you.
You ass! How could you possibly say that after hearing the voices on the tape?
Because it's the only possible explanation. Voices don't just magically appear on tape.
It's the only explanation that you are willing to believe. Those voices are EVPs.
Is that the electronic voice thingy?
It's not a thingy. It's a phenomenon. Electronic voice phenomenon.
it was insane. Like she went way too far with it.
No one,
shit down your neck.
no one in this movie is a great actor until like the script calls for them to be mad or upset about something, and then they just ratchet up the overacting out of fucking nowhere.
And then they're the best actors.
Yes, they are. They did rage quite well in this movie.
So, Siege of Evil, not necessarily a siege, more just like kind of like a casual saunter.
Yeah, like a segue into evil.
Sag of Evil begins with an unnamed woman jogging. The first thing you notice is that no bra is on this woman.
That is uncomfortable.
Which is, yes, of course, that is how we all know women jog, constantly with no support, just breasts flapping in the wind.
Yeah.
They're clapping for me. I run really fast.
For everybody listening at home, that was Jack making that noise with her breasts. It was very impressive.
Thank you for that, Jack. Anyways, the jogger comes across a roadblock sign, so she makes a detour through the creepy woods.
An evil roadblock sign, which totally comes back later.
I've never been more menaced before.
That's the demon's ploy. It's like a Wile E. Coyote like detour trap for the roadrunner.
Yeah.
That's how they lure people to the haunted house.
She's running down a highway and then sees like a sign. Nothing else is obstructing. It's just like one sign, like right there. It says road closed. She's like, oh man, I guess I'll go through this forest. The road is closed to cars, madam. You can keep going. There's nothing in your way.
Beep beep, boobies coming through.
Yeah.
So she comes across the house that we were talking about, just like this dilapidated old home that I guess we were told like was used for satanic rituals back in the day.
By satanic supporters.
Satanic supporters, yeah. Well, it's just like the opening shot of like that there's like creepy stuff abound. Because,
it's the cold open.
Yeah, it's the cold open. So like the CGI smoke, the MS Paint smoke monster comes out of the home, chases her down in the woods, rips her shirt, and then the smoke monster loops around again to finish the job.
Rips her shirt very specifically. So yeah, there are
holes, nipples, and ketchup.
Yes, what the movie eventually tells us is that I guess there are two different monsters that turn into smoke, are maybe both Satan. We're not really sure, but they're also extremely horny. Because this MS Paint smoke attacks this woman, and you think, okay, she's going to go away and she's going to be like a skeleton, or like something like gross is going to happen. No, just her shirt is ripped, and then one boob is completely. Did I say broob? I think I said broob. One broob is totally out, and then there's just like a nipple window, but it's a perfectly circular nipple window.
It's like from Mean Girls when Regina George gets the holes in the shirts.
Very strange. and
that it has no bearing on the plot. That's
no,
just
it has zero
that's
bearing
the
on the
opening
plot. No bearing.
No bearing.
Bearing of breasts.
Yeah. Plenty of bearing of breasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, surprisingly not. We don't actually see anything else. So it's like, I put this in there to be exploitive, put some tits in my movie up front, and so like, okay, this is going to be like a nasty sleaze movie.
Slasher.
No, that's kind of the only time it happens. Didn't really need to cut that nipple window at all.
And then it cuts to the opening credits, which go on for a generous 5
And then
minutes.
10 minutes later, the movie
Shit.
starts.
Yeah, using the default font.
Really hitting that Casio keyboard hard. This is really funny, and I'm going to edit this in to prove how accurate this statement is, but we were talking before the episode started about Donkey Kong Country. Turns out most of the soundtrack to this movie sounds exactly like Donkey Kong Country music, specifically the water levels.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. It was nice, actually.
It was nice. It reminded me of something I'd rather be doing.
Yes, that's exactly what I was just about to say.
Yeah. So after the credits end, we meet our actual protagonists of the movie. Husband and wife duo, Sarah and whatever the fuck her husband's
Mark.
name. Mark. Oh, yeah.
Sarah and Mark.
Yeah. Sarah is a amateur paranormal investigator, or she's into it.
Yep.
So
it's just something she does as a hobby, and she's dragging Mark, her husband, along to drive her out to the middle of this field. There's like scenes where they show her driving later on in the movie, right? I honestly can't remember.
Oh, she drives.
So I'm not really sure why Mark had to drive her out to the middle of this field because it seemed like he had shit to do.
Yeah, every fucking scene he's in, he's always talking about how much work he has to be doing.
He always has all this
that
paperwork.
old Doyle contract needs to get done now.
Yeah,
the oil Doyles are breathing down my neck. Yeah,
Doyle rules.
He's a real estate agent / used car salesman? It's really hard to tell.
One or the other.
Whatever he does, he always has a lot of paperwork.
And he's currently not doing it because
and he's always upset that he's not doing his paperwork.
Can't wait. I got all this paperwork to do.
I can't believe Mark, had to drive you, Sarah, my wife, out into the middle of this field to meet our mutual friend Barry when I have all this paperwork that I need to do.
Yeah, so Barry, I guess, is like the expert paranormal investigator who got Sarah into that whole hobby.
We guess.
I suppose. The thing is, like, they seem to, like, really get along. And I had the suspicion that she was having an affair with Barry.
It's easy to read into this movie.
That's why she didn't actually, understand anything about ghost hunting. She's like, no, I'm really into ghost hunting. No, honey, you just into Barry's dick.
All right, Mark, you just wait by the car. Barry and I are going to go into this house together for a long time.
Yeah.
We're hunting for ghosts.
So if you hear a lot of, noises coming from in there, don't worry about it. That's just...
Yeah. Barry gives off legitimate Lothario vibes, but there's really not, there's not a lot we learn about any of these characters. Barry is walking with a cane. I thought maybe there might be a backstory to explain why Barry is walking with a cane. I think legitimately that actor just needed a cane to get around.
You guys keep saying actor.
Right.
I just assumed that these are the director's friends. So his friend genuinely has to walk with a cane.
I love how the director is just like, I need an actor for this movie. I'm going to rope my friend who has difficulty walking, specifically in scenes that involve stairs.
Yeah.
Most of his role, the majority of his very short role involves him climbing things.
So mean.
But there's no other reason for that. There's no, unless that I almost said actor again, unless that friend showed up on set one day, just like, I've decided my character has a cane.
Yeah.
And the director is just like, can I convince you not to have the cane? It's all like, I'm going to go with no. Barry has a cane.
Poor Buddy when he's got the cat eye lenses. No, I think I'm gonna go with the cat eye contacts. I think it's really working for this scene.
Well, I think the biggest one is the priest that shows up later, who shows up.
Well, let's wait till we get.
We're jumping a little ahead here. Yeah,
so
sure. Rest assured, everyone brought their own clothes from home. That's the point that we're trying to make.
Yeah. So they tour the Satan house. And
they go into the house, and then Barry starts giving the backstory about this was like a Church of Satan or whatever. But right before that, he also mentions that it's on a gypsy burial ground.
My problem is that some of the gypsies were still alive when they buried him.
They knew that their sick couldn't make it all the way out west with them. They didn't want to bury them just anywhere along the wagon trail. And the Hollow Grove was considered sacred ground. So when they got very sick, they buried him here.
And you think that that's going to be the plot of this.
Yeah, curses and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is funny that they did away with the problematic trope of the Indian burial ground, and they replaced it with an equally problematic burial ground.
We don't like that.
Just say burial ground. You don't have to quantify it with something horrible, with a slur.
Burial ground,
yeah, there's some corpses underneath our feet somewhere.
Yeah. One thing that they did mention was that it's an old house and that they've tried to tear it down a couple of times.
Yes,
but they mentioned that
you had a great point about this.
Yeah, none of our equipment works. Honey, most of the shit that you're doing when it's demo isn't them coming in with the fucking bulldozer. People are working with crowbars.
It's hammers.
Sledgehammers.
It's just sledgehammers.
So you're telling me that your crowbar isn't working?
But not only that,
are you holding it right?
But not only that, they mentioned that crewmen died on this. He goes into great detail.
Yeah.
For this one guy who fell from the second story and landed with his head completely twisted around.
And then he also mentions the foreman who goes into the building and then goes home and murders his wife and scatters her body parts. They still haven't found all the body parts yet.
And then, what does Sarah say? Well, should we really go there? And Barry says, oh, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because you've just explained to us that.
You spend the last 5 minutes saying all of the reasons why we shouldn't do this. But we'll be fine.
Yeah.
We're Barry and Sarah. We'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. So they go through the house with their tape recorder, just calling out for any kind of voices because, as it's mentioned, the human ear won't be able to pick it up, but you'll play it back on the tape deck and you'll hear the demons talking to you.
This is such a great example of how incompetent this movie was shot. Is I knew going into it was about electronic voice phenomenon, but I didn't realize she was recording anything until an hour later, and she went back home and she started playing the tape.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in her hand. I didn't notice the scene where she took it out and started recording.
The only part that I noticed was when she got the phone call from her sister, and all of a sudden she just hucks all her stuff at Barry. It's hey Barry, take all my shit. I gotta go. You know, that's the only time I noticed her with that fucking tape recorder is when she's just pawning it off on that poor guy who's now again got to go down the fucking stairs a fourth time.
So Sarah, we find out, has an ill mother, a mother who's dying of cancer, and her sister Kathy is looking after her at home. So that's kind of her home life situation. In the middle of this ghost hunt,
Mark gets the phone call saying that mom's take a turn for the worse. Her cancer's not getting any better.
The cancer's not getting any better. How's the cancer today? Still not good.
It's not great.
Still life-threatening.
Yeah. So she
very bad.
She calls off the rest of the ghost hunt and goes home, leaving Barry alone with the house to be lured back inside by the sexy librarian lady or whatever.
Who's wearing socks with high heels. Let me just point that out. I was what the actual fuck is she wearing?
That should have been the first hint that it was Satan.
Yeah, she lures him back inside and then sucks his soul out and he's dead. And that's the rest. That's all we get from Barry.
Seems very willing to just follow this mystery woman up the stairs, and it's
yeah. What's he say when he first sees her? Now who is this?
Well, who is that?
And then we find out later he's married.
We find out later he's married, and we get the vibe that Barry is kind of a little bit of an old dog going around, but it's just Barry, number one, you seem to be the lead paranormal investigator here, which is only what we can determine because you have found a friend that is interested in the same shit as you, but it really seems like you're driving this particular vehicle. You know all the backstory. You have all of the history. So the fact that a mysterious woman just appears in front of you and you are A, nonplussed, and B, seemingly entirely willing to go up into this nasty abandoned house and have rando sex with a mystery woman who's very clearly a ghost of some sort, but Barry's all in. Barry is 100% down.
Yeah, it's like Jack. It's like what Jack's mom was saying. Hey, these opportunities don't present themselves.
That's right. You gotta find this stuff out. Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also want to get this on recording right now that Barry looks very similar to our good friend Joel Flynn, who was here setting up, and I'm a little sorry that he wasn't here to see his doppelganger in Siege of Evil.
I'm sure he greatly appreciates being compared to this gentleman.
Yeah, Joel, don't watch this movie. It's horrible.
Yeah, take our word for it.
Or listen to this episode.
And you're a much more handsome version of
Absolutely.
Barry.
Yeah, don't just take our word for take Kaz's word for it that you look like this guy.
know what I really liked about, like, the mother with the... Well, no, I don't like the mother having cancer. Let's rephrase that.
Jack, you monster.
that whole part where she's, like, they go home and... the mom is, like, sitting there with the daughter, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry that, like, I wrecked your ghost hunting trip with my cancer. You know how I like to be the center of attention.
Oh,
It's
those
like,
classic
bitch,
mom guilt trips.
It's like, of course you're going to be the center of attention. You have cancer.
Yeah.
Like,
But
and
you
you've
know
been
what?
given a week to live randomly, which is, like, an arbitrary number that's kind of pulled out of nowhere. Like, mom's got a week to live all of a sudden, and, like, she seems fine other than the fact she's got a smoker's cough.
They also cast a woman who appears to be in perfect health.
And is, like, the same age as her daughter.
Yeah, she really doesn't look... Yeah, she looks maybe 5 years older than the woman playing her daughter, yeah.
You forget that that's not her first scene in the movie. Her first scene of the movie is her, like, sitting in front of the toilet, throwing up into it, which we really didn't need to see.
No.
I mean, not... Like, yes, the rule of film is, like, show, don't tell. There are certain things that you can just explain away in dialogue, and then, like, let us, like, assume that that's what happened.
Not only that, but they're really playing up the melodrama of all of this cancer subplot, too, because she goes home, she, finds the sister, the mom is already in the bathroom, we can hear her retching. Mm-hmm. She goes up to the sister, and she's all like, how's mom? Is she all right? She's all like, nah, she's in the bathroom and she's throwing up. And she's all like, she's throwing up. And then she goes to the bathroom, she knocks on the door, and the mom's like, don't come in. Blah, I'm totally throwing up. Blah. And then she opens the door, and, like, the look of just, like, shock and anguish on Sarah's face. And she's like, oh, no. Oh, God, no. And we cut over, and the mom's throwing up. And it's like, yeah. We know. She's
like, I told you not to come in. I don't want you to look at me. Well,
you knew moments ago that this is what was happening.
And the scene that follows that afterwards is the family, like, sitting, like, in the living room talking about, oh, yeah, the doctor says the only thing we can do for her is make her comfortable for the next week.
And to highly sedate her.
Yeah, it's like, that's not comfort, that's hell. And I'm thinking that the director had a family member who went through something like this, and now this is their own, like, way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Putting it in the fucking movie like this.
Well, we all deal with grief in different ways.
Absolutely, but ugh.
I mean, if we're going on that theory, that's going to make the scene shot in the cemetery hold a significant different bit of weight. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
There was that weird part where she's like, "There's one thing that you could do for me, Sarah, that I just can't ask Kathy," and I'm like, "What the fuck is she gonna ask her for? Some, like, weed, some bourbon, and a vibrator?" Like,
I just watched this movie and I've literally already forgotten what she ended up asking her. So go ahead.
I can't remember either.
I remember.
It was something to do with ghosts.
Yeah.
She learned about it.
The shadow people.
Yeah, ask them to stop coming into my room. Like, who's been in your room? Well, no one really, but there's, like, these shadow realm things.
Shadow people.
And I think I've been... I think the medication and, like, my current state is allowing me to see into, like, the alternate planes, and I can see the demons and stuff, which I'm going to say is probably what is happening.
Yeah.
How dare the filmmakers make that the actual excuse on how to explain the paranormal goings on?
My read on the film is that Sarah is into, like, the whole, like, ghost phenomenon thing. She might have gotten, like, a little bit of that from her mom. Like, it kind of seems like maybe the mom is kind of into, like, the whole ghost thing too.
About the tarot cards involving the mom and the divination, but they didn't actually fucking tie anything up. Like, honestly, they didn't. None of this movie makes sense. They didn't tie up anything, really. Like, you don't know who the actual, like, antagonist of the movie is.
It's Satan. It's our Dark Lord Satan. Specifically,
sometimes it's energy vampires. Sometimes it's a sexy lady. Sometimes it's a guy in a weird mask.
This week specifically, he is Satan, Lord of Darkness, ruler of hell, is just fucking around with, like, this one Midwestern couple.
Yeah, in Iowa.
In Iowa.
Yeah,
in Iowa.
We find out.
Okay, so Barry stays at the house, gets his soul sucked out. The smoke in Barry's body leaves his body and goes into the other smoke body. You following me? Great. Okay, they go back home. They deal with the mom. The mom's sick, so they put the mom to bed. Then Sarah goes to garden, and then the spooky ghost lady with the socks and heels, shows up on her lawn, and Sarah thinks that she is there to sign the O'Douls papers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, looking for Barry. So she.
Yeah, just let yourself into my house.
Which is the invitation that lets the demon into your home.
Is that a thing with demons? I know that's a thing with vampires.
It's a thing with vampires. So you have to invite one into your home. But is that really like an invitation to be like, oh yeah, he's inside? Like, is that like the loophole that the demons have figured out to get into the home?
Yeah, that's a pretty deep loophole.
Those wily demons.
Are vampires demons? They're undead.
They're monsters.
Yeah. What constitutes a demon?
I
don't know. There must be some mythology that thinks vampires
Succubuses, I think, are demons.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think anything that's in the lesser key of Solomon would probably be considered like a demon. These guys all have names like the angels do, you know, but they all have, like, different shit that they can do. Like, there's this one guy that you can summon. He's awesome.
There's this one demon I know.
There's this one guy.
Motherfucker still owes me $50.
He'll hook you up with the love of your life, but he will make you completely infertile for the rest of your life. So you're fucking telling me that if I hire this guy, I'm not going to have to deal with crotch pesticides, and I meet the love of my life?
Jax likes to say, this is a pretty good deal.
Yeah. What's the downside?
Party, man. Yeah. Where's the bonus on this?
Processing that's a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of like, I'm weighing the pros and cons in my head.
Yeah, I skipped out on a lot of church as a kid, but if this is the kind of stuff I missed out on...
You're going to the wrong kind of church.
Yeah,
if church had a demon week, I'd sign up a lot more.
Absolutely.
You know me, I'm a satanic supporter.
Yeah.
So she directs the lady into the house where she goes to the low ceiling man cave basement with the huge like dinette set where Barry is just pumping weights.
Yeah. There are two
10-pound weights.
Yeah.
There are two settings in this movie. One is the director's mom's house, and the other is like a church that they found abandoned in the woods that they did not get permission to shoot in.
Yeah, and
those are the two locations.
Hey, if you're an amateur filmmaker, just like use what you have available to you. So that's what he had.
That grandma's house looked really cool though. Had like sliding doors, had like nice wood paneling. It looked very comfortable. I could spend a weekend there.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
getting some good
use,
home cooked meals.
Could do some fixing up, but yeah, it's a fine little
cuddle with
there.
a snake.
He's
know,
got the
usual
same
grandma stuff.
paintings and Jesus plates as my grandma's house. I think that's the same fucking couch. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
They might have just shot it in.
I think they did.
House,
I think they just broke in there or just paid her like a $20 and sent her off to church.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna be making a movie about the devil here.
They're just like waving goodbye from the driveway. Okay, bye. See you later. Okay, go. Get some everything set up. Like,
there was a lot of that.
Put the
going
lighting
on.
there. Yeah.
There's a lot of like exterior shots where it's all like, okay, I'm going into this building now, and you just know it's like this is a Sunday and that building is locked. Yeah. They can't get in.
So the ghost lady takes the form of Sarah's busty sister, and she puts the move on Barry. He resists her charms. And then she disappears, and then there's like this weird, like,
this whole thing is
this bit goes on for way too long. Where like Sarah goes looking for Barry, and she can't find him in the basement. But then she hears like heavy heaving coming from the basement.
She hears
goes to investigate, and nobody's
female sex noises. Yeah.
Nobody's downstairs. She goes outside looking for Barry. There's Barry. What do you mean,
Mark? Barry
right.
is the dead guy. Yeah.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
Keep your white men.
All white people look the same to me, Jameson.
Separate.
Plot twist. She was the husband was fucking the mom, and that's where all the sounds were coming from.
Oh fuck! She was the only other woman in this house.
Exactly. That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, the sister's gone to the store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The mom's upstairs. Like, the sound could carry to the basement technically.
Yeah. But
and she was in pain, and that kind of sounds like
But Mark never comes clean and says, Kathy put the moves on me.
No, it's really weird how the characters react to this shit happening, because I understand that in like a haunting movie, there's a certain amount of time where the characters are skeptical and they're all like, well, this doesn't make any sense, so I'm not going to believe what this is happening. But well past the point where all of the characters should be accepting the fact that there is a ghost/devil situation going on here, they still like deny right up to like the final moment all of the weird shit that happens. And like the first thing everyone needs to get on board with immediately, just because it just becomes super irritating, is that the ghost is pretending to be other people. And you just wish they would just get that, because that's like the one thing the movie keeps doing over and over again. And the weird sort of like plausible deniability thing, like Mark goes up to Sarah and he's all like, hey, was your sister in like the basement at all today? And then Kathy comes back from the shop or whatever and is all like, are you sure you weren't in the basement earlier? I could have sworn I saw you in the basement. She was straddling you. You wouldn't think that you saw something. You'd be 100% certain.
Her junk was rubbing on your junk, homie.
You can't fake that.
You didn't get a pretend erection.
Did you think you were daydreaming or something? It was just like a super elaborate
Not
one?
only did you think you saw her, like, you saw a lot of her.
Yeah, you're well aware of the fact that she was down there. Yeah, so I guess she lets this demon woman in, but then the woman disappears, and everyone's like, that's weird, and then they all kind of forget about it.
Later that night, Kathy takes a shower, and there's a snake in the bathroom, and it kind of follows her around the house.
There's a snake in my tub.
Yeah. For just some fucking reason. Yeah, sometimes the demon is a snake.
Well, because it's Satan.
That's right. And because one of the director's friends had a pet snake.
Okay, I know... okay, I have to go back. All right. So, in the beginning, God made Adam, and then he... No, okay, I won't go into that.
Oh, right, okay. Actually, I didn't even make that association, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing that bothered me was they picked one of the most, like, friendly to human snakes to play an evil snake. Like, pythons and boa constrictors are so docile towards humans, like, it's kind of ridiculous.
They also picked, like, a yellow and white snake and then put it in a yellow and white bathroom and then later a yellow and white couch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you work with the snakes you have. Yeah. We all work with the snakes we have in life.
Yeah, they had a snake before they had a script.
They built the script around the snake.
Fuck!
Finally, it all makes sense.
Yeah, they didn't want to go out and buy a new couch or anything.
The only real actor in the whole movie.
Actually, here, little filmmaking advice for fledgling filmmakers. Like, sometimes it's okay to splurge on things that you might want to need for your script, like a priest costume, for instance. We will get to that in a second.
Yeah, so just weird shit happens to the characters, and Sarah finally, at the end of the day, sits down and listens to the voice recording, and of course, there's an evil voice on there, like, answering her questions, which isn't how EVP fucking works.
That ghost had way too much to say. He was doing full run-off sentences.
Yeah. Is there anybody here?
Only the dead we rot in hell.
Why are you here?
And, like, the whole point of EVP is, like, it sounds like distortion, and you can kind of make out the fractions of sounds that could also form words. But, like, no one has ever recorded EVP where the ghost is just like, the blood of the innocent will cover the world and everything. That's not how that works at all.
I really had no idea. I thought, like, that was, like, the one truthful thing to, like, the phenomenon that this movie got across.
No.
You can't just, like, walk into a haunted place and go, like, hey, are there any ghosts in here? And then you play back, like, your recording, like, I'm here.
I'm here.
Did you bring me a Baconator?
Yeah. Are there any ghosts here? Yes. Are any of you ghosts Satan? No. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm Satan. Yeah. You got me. I'm just Sataning it up over here. And then the mom dies.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's the weird phone call, too.
I'll get the phone. Hello? You sick asshole. Who is this? You go to hell.
Oh, yeah. It was like
the worst prank call ever.
Yeah. Wasn't that what the guy...
And then the husband has, like, a 5-minute stand-up set on, like, just prank calls in general.
Oh, yeah, and he's, like, in his weird accent.
Oh, yeah,
humor.
he's doing all of his troubling accents. Yeah.
You stay in here and relax. I go in kitchen. Make you into Chinese family secret. Make you forget your trouble.
Scotch.
Aye, Lassie. I'll make you a good stiff concoction.
Why don't you say, like, you ever call anyone and say, pray for death? And he says, nope, can't say I have.
There was this one time. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, Mark. We don't need a story.
I will say,
right
like,
now.
at least, like, Sarah and Mark seem to have, like, an affectionate relationship with each other.
Yeah.
They seem like just annoying.
How did you get that? Their relationship was, like, antagonistic from the opening
scene. They have some
scene.
sort of chemistry, though. They're probably, like, best friends in real life or something.
It looked like she hated him. I don't agree with either of you.
No?
I didn't see any love between those actors at all.
They were joking around. Like, he had some really bad jokes, but she seemed to, like, really enjoy them. She enjoyed his dumb humor.
Reading into something that I guess I just didn't, I didn't
Or maybe
get it.
me and Jameson were just hoping for some sort of, like...
Likable characters.
Or some sort of, like, anything.
You two were sitting a lot closer to the computer screen than
That's
I was.
true.
I couldn't hear a lot of the movie, and I was also perfectly fine with that. I did it. There was huge chunks of dialogue I wasn't getting, and I decided, should I ask them to repeat that? Nah, that's cool. I probably got it.
There was one scene where, like, I thought, like, maybe I was sitting too far away from the screen,
Well,
too.
with the mother.
When the ghost of the mother comes back into the living room, and she's like, Mom, you're up. And then she looks at him because, like, now she's possessed or the demon or whatever, and she mouths something, and I had to lean in close to see, like, oh, is she saying something?
There was a couple of times people
but
were
she
just
wasn't.
wording things.
She fucking wasn't.
Yeah, it just looked like she was going, elephant chew, tiger beat, peanuts are only a treat for after supper.
David Duchovny,
and then floats into the door behind her.
Yeah.
See, and this is the thing. This is the exact turning moment where both Sarah and Mark are on the couch. They see the cancer mom come into... I won't call her cancer mom.
Cancer mom.
This isn't The Room.
Worst superhero name ever.
That's true. I got a phone call from the doctor. I definitely have breast cancer. This was a cancer subplot that followed through. I guess it didn't because a ghost got her. But anyway, yeah, they see the mom come into the living room when they're sitting there, and then they literally see her incorporeal body go through the wall. After that, there shouldn't be any part of this movie where it's all like, this is ridiculous, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you've seen Ghost.
Yeah.
You have seen a ghost because they run into the bedroom and they find the mom dead.
Yeah,
we didn't mention earlier the scene where the mom is sitting up in bed and then a man in a cheap rubber Halloween mask
appears behind her. Gives her a hug from behind.
That was very funny.
Yeah.
That was a very funny moment.
But yeah, like, at this point, like, yes, in one of these horror movies, you have to have the rational thinker, the skeptic, who doesn't believe in all the supernatural kind of shit, and that character
and
is
the
Mark.
stoner, and the virgin, and the talking dog.
And the token
Do you want to finish my point
person.
for me, Kaz, or?
No, because I don't know what your point is.
Well, my point is that at that point, yes, Mark should no longer be the skeptic because now he's seen with his own eyes. But in, like, the very next couple of scenes, he's always like, yeah, but do you still really believe that these are demons and ghosts? I admit weird stuff's going on.
But Sarah is also often the skeptic in situations where it's like, okay, one of you needs to buy into this at some point.
And it should be the person whose hobby is looking into paranormal shit.
Well, and the thing that bothered me the most is nobody believes anything until she's going through the box and she finds a bleached handprint on a pillow. That's your fucking proof of the paranormal? Your dead mother just floated into a door!
Yeah. They ruined a perfectly good pillow for this movie.
It was beautiful blue velvet. How dare you?
The pillow budget on this movie was fantastic.
The whole fucking budget for the movie.
So they go.
Can I have a bottle of water? All the money went into pillows. Sorry.
So they go to the funeral home because, like, now it's like the mother's funeral, which is like, you know, one scene where they were all looking at the open casket. Now this both is evidence of, you know, working with a shoestring budget, not having like a big enough budget to have a whole family come by for the movie, because they mentioned like
this is funny. Yeah,
the family is all waiting outside. You know, they're waiting for the funeral. Like, okay, are you actually going to show that, or are you
gotta
just,
get the pallbearers? Greg, are Greg and Terry ever going to show up? Yeah, they're over there.
So
never see Greg and Terry.
So Paul and Andy, rather.
Oh, you actually wrote
yeah,
down there.
because this is the point.
Because you thought Paul and Andy were going to be a plot point.
Yeah,
that was going to come down.
Well, they mentioned it in the scene, you know, where's Paul and Andy? Oh, they're supposed to be the pallbearers. Oh, they were stuck in traffic. They're signing the guest book right now. What that is evidence of is a clear sign that this is like an amateur screenwriter. You know, like, these are characters you do not mention these characters unless they are actually going to either show up. If you want to establish something, like, either have them show up later or just completely omit it. Not everything needs to be, like, broken down to the fucking letter.
Do you think you get, like, weird feelings if you're asked to be a pallbearer and your name is Paul? Do you think that's like a conflict of interest?
Well, there was a wrestling.
I was a bearer at a funeral the other day.
You know, there
Do you mean
was
a pallbearer? No.
You know, there was a manager character in WWE called Paul Bearer.
Okay.
And he worked with The Undertaker.
All right, it's not May.
That's
It's not May yet.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, that was my big, like, stick up my ass writer's point that I want to get at. That's a free lesson, kids.
All right, there we go. This is a new segment we like to call Jameson Stick Up His Ass,
Yeah.
where I don't think that phrase means what I think you think it means.
I don't know, like I'm upset about something.
That's not what
Stick
stick
up
up.
your ass?
That's not what stick up your ass means. Stick up your ass means.
No, when you've got a stick up your ass, you're usually in a bad mood. Like, pull the stick out of your ass.
I always thought
if-
stick up your ass meant like.
or if it's a
you're
girl,
really
you ask her
full
for
of yourself.
tampons in the wrong hole.
Right? Is that? I've never tried that. I should
Yeah,
try that with.
don't
I'll
do
try
it.
that with the next woman that I meet. Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't stick up your ass mean like, look at that asshole? He's really full of himself. He's walking around like his shit don't stink. He's got a real stick up his ass.
I can mean that too.
Oh,
and,
okay.
I mean, I'm speaking right now like my shit don't stink, and I'm pissed off about something. So,
Oh, there we
yeah,
go.
got,
All right.
got a real stick up my ass.
Stick
up.
in his ass. Boop. That's the theme music for that. All right.
Wonderful. Looking forward to making this graphic.
I'm really excited to see what graphic you make.
He looks so
Now,
unimpressed.
now you
right
have
now.
to do it.
Arms
I wasn't
crossed,
going to
does
ask
not
you to
have
do
it.
one. Now that you've brought it up, I absolutely demand it.
Well, since I have full creative control on how this is going to look, won't you be disappointed?
Oh. But it's not Kaz's stick up his ass. That's not the type of, you know what, let's move on.
It can be now.
Let's move on with this. All right, so, now we go to the cemetery, which is the scene that I really want to talk about because there's just a realization that you come to when you watch a movie like this and the character goes to a cemetery. Number one is all like, okay, they absolutely did not get permission to film in here. And it's just like a very weird vibe. Like, I get that there are cemeteries that, like, big Hollywood movies shoot in, but I've always been under the impression that those are, like,
Sets.
fake movie set cemeteries.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are very clearly actual burial plots that exist in real life.
Yeah.
And
If the camera panned over a little too far, you would see a family in mourning.
And it's doubly weird when Sarah goes up to specifically the grave of her mom and starts crying in front of it, because one of two truths are self-evident here. One,
May I just say, sometimes it's kind of hard coming up with character names. I'll just say that as a
Sure.
writer. Yeah.
So,
You spend time
So
in
how did the
graveyards?
movie get around naming the mother character Mabel Altman? Well,
it was they either found a cemetery, like a nice gravestone that was in like a good shot of the movie, and it's all like, who's on this gravestone? Mabel Altman. All right, cool. I guess that's the name.
That's
of
the
our
name of the mother.
protagonist's mom's character. Or there's also a possibility, because it was one of like those tandem gravestones. The dad isn't even mentioned like once, so I don't know what that was. But I'd also be willing to bet that, because they were just like these blank sort of squares
that they put over
there.
the other name.
I feel like maybe they might have superimposed the name on the gravestone.
I hope so.
I'd buy both. I would buy either
'Cause
or.
I would like for shame on you for like doing scouting locations at a cemetery and finding, oh, that's a really nice looking tombstone that we're going to use for our movie. We're not going to seek permission from the family.
Poor fucking Mabel Altman is just like walking around in like the what's the name of that place in Insidious where it's like the afterlife, like the beyond, or
like
the
purgatory.
further. Yeah, the poor Mabel Altman's just like walking around, and all of a sudden she's just like, ugh. It's all like, what's wrong, Mabel? It's all like, I think I'm in Siege of Evil. I don't want to be. This is bad.
Actually, you know what? You had left the room briefly, but we were watching the credits, and this movie is dedicated to someone.
Is it dedicated to Mabel Altman?
No, it's dedicated to Yukon. Yeah,
Yukon Cornelius? I didn't even know he died. That's really sad.
No, it's Yukon, and then like the last name of the director, which was what was it, like Carpenter or
Carney.
Carney? Yeah,
Yukon Carney.
Yukon Carney.
But they were either an 11-year-old kid or an 11-year-old dog, which is sad on both ends.
Yeah. So this movie would have desecrated two
Wait,
dead people.
they included like the years Yukon Carney was alive?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of sad.
Wow, I don't even want to joke about that. That's like
it's either a cat, like it's either a dog or cat, or it's like a person, and it would have been like a little kid. Which
there
is. Really
is.
sad.
I'm sorry, I missed that. There is so much to unpack there.
Yeah.
Just like dedicating your movie
maybe
to your.
that's who had the cancer.
Oh my God, this is a really sad movie now.
Oh God!
Did I just ruin it?
I didn't realize this was based on a true story. Oh my God!
What worse way to honor the memory of someone than making this piece of shit movie?
Wow.
Oh my God!
R.I.P. Yukon.
I would come back and haunt somebody if they did this to me.
Absolutely.
This is a dirty.
Yeah. So Sarah starts seeing some spooky stuff happening in the cemetery.
She sees Barry pop up.
And then disappear again.
Well, because, she's going to the cemetery. We think she's gone to the cemetery to mourn her mother, but she's apparently gone to the cemetery to meet with a priest.
Yeah.
Who she has sent her ghost tape to so he can study it. And then she's there, and then she turns around, and there's just a dude in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then
Well, he's a plainclothes priest. He says, like, oh, I just didn't have time. They explain away why he's not dressed like a priest.
Miss Logan?
How'd you know my name?
Well, I'm Father Marquand. Maybe I should have told you that I would be out of uniform today. I'm sorry. It was my turn to clean out the storage rooms at the parish's second-hand store this afternoon, and, well, I couldn't get my usual uniform dirty.
Fucking filmmakers are just too lazy to go out and buy, like, a priest Halloween costume or something. Or to make, like, a piece of paper collar to put on his black t-shirt.
This is what we have to break down. Okay, so she talks with the priest, with t-shirt, casual, Sunday priest. I guess he wouldn't be casual on Sunday. That would be the opposite. He would be formal Sunday. Anyway, she meets with him, and she's all like, did you find anything on my tape? And then the priest, like, really starts getting, like, intense, like, immediately. He's all like,
well, I didn't hear anything, but, like, hey, that doesn't surprise me, because they're going to try to deceive the man of the cloth. And I totally believe in what you're saying, and it's the work of the devil, and I know exactly what we can do to solve this. You have to trust me, and you may have to do something that's a little unorthodox, a little against your conventions. There, this guy's not a fucking priest.
Well,
he's luring her he wasn't a man or something.
I mean, we were joking about him just being like a random dude, but the reality of the situation is, it is yet another
demon
apparition. It's Satan. Because he starts rubbing her legs or whatnot, and he starts like yelling at her and calling her a bitch and whatnot.
Her legs.
As Satan is wont to do. And then she goes home, and the same priest is there, actually dressed as a priest. So they had a priest costume.
Yeah.
But on the day they filmed the cemetery scene, they
didn't have it.
They either forgot it, or like that was like the first day that actor, yes, I'm using the term actor, that the priest guy showed up, and like they very clearly said, like, okay, we just need you, like, in 2 scenes, we need you to be a priest. Can you bring, like, a black shirt from home? And he's all like, done. And he shows up with his black t-shirt. And they're all like, where's your priest shirt? He's all like, you said bring a black shirt. It's all like, a collared shirt, Terry. You are playing a priest. It's all like, do we have time to, like, get it? No, fuck it.
Piece
You're
of paper,
you're casual priest. Write this.
You're a cool guy.
You, like, grabbed
cool
a piece,
grabbed
a piece of paper,
folded under the collar.
Grabbed a piece of paper, wrote, like, the one explaining line of dialogue. It's all like, you have, like, 5 seconds to memorize this. God damn it, Terry.
or the other possibility is, like, a fucking... The demons didn't go out and buy themselves a priest shirt. In terms of, like, the movie logic, they didn't, like, manifest a priest clothing for them. But,
or they were trying to create some divisive line between priest in cemetery and priest in house, because they would have been like, oh, did he just, like, run away and then just go to her house and wait for her and then just pretend like nothing happened?
But it's just an overly explained nonsense thing that just like adds to the confusion of what's going on here.
There's no time either.
Before we move off of the cemetery, we have to mention the best visual effect in this movie, Peepin' Jesus.
Winking Jesus. Yeah, it's just like this really nice marble statue of Mary holding the dead body of Christ, and then it zooms in on Jesus' face for a little too long. Oh, something's gonna happen.
Something's going on with that.
And then one of the eyes goes,
and it's so bad too. Like,
it's just a black dot on the eyelid.
Dot. It is fucking like Tintin eyes. Like it's not even. They didn't even bother animating an eye opening.
Perfect.
So good.
Oh my god,
so good.
It's great. It's like
so. They get back to the house. She chews out the fucking priest for showing it because she thinks she's the molesting priest again. And I'm not going to go. Let's just leave it at that. And
they do that.
Molest?
Yeah. Priests do that.
That's why I said let's just leave it at that.
Okay, I just wanted to point out that's a fact.
Yes, all right.
They molest the children.
Okay.
Anyway,
Oh, now we're anywaying this. Okay, great.
Yeah, Jameson, can we move on from this, please?
Yeah, sorry I brought it up. Holy fuck.
God, guys.
And then the wife of Barry shows up and slaps Sarah across the face, accuses her of no, he's dead because he went to the house with her.
This is what blows my fucking mind. So we know a ton of time has passed because the mom dies seemingly the evening that she comes back from going to the house with Barry, but then the subsequent scenes are her funeral, and then enough time has passed that the mom is now in the ground with the headstone and everything. So presumably, I don't know, at least a month has passed, but it isn't until this moment that Sarah realizes her ghost hunting friend is dead. She must have at the very least realized he has been missing for a significant amount of time, but not until just now does she realize something's up with, hey, what happened to Barry?
There was that scene earlier where she's on the phone with the wife and she's like, oh, Barry never came home. I wonder what's up. And the husband writes it off as, oh, I bet he's having an affair. Men or dogs.
Old Barry.
Way to cast aspergencies against this guy. I mean,
I get that there is, a lot going on in your life, but at some point in time, the thought might enter your head as all hey, what happened to, my ghost hunting friend that I was, just hanging out with? Maybe
and probably boning.
Yeah, he's fooling around on his wife. That's a very strong accusation.
Did
they
Barry...
They kind of just leave it at that.
Did Barry never meet her mom? Was Barry not invited to the funeral? What is their relationship? These are the questions that Siege of Evil poses to us.
Does not answer.
Does not answer, and instead it raises more questions.
Several more questions. So that night what does Sarah do? She actually gets some books on...
she gets one book.
Yeah, she goes to the library. There's she goes to the mandatory library scene.
Well, it's not the mandatory library scene because she says, I'm going to the library, and then cut to her reading a book outside. So they did not find a library that would let them shoot their stupid movie.
That's exactly what happened.
It's called Siege of Evil.
I'm going to stop you right there. No. Yeah. So she gets one book on ghosts / Satan or whatever. I guess it's just about Satan, just pure book on Satan. And then she goes home, and there's a very long scene where they're sitting around the dinner table just talking about the stages of demonic possession. It's all
how they got to this point.
The second step is when they pretend to be other people, and at that point in time, we just God, we know, this has been happening. This is all you've been showing us is that.
When I directed her to find Barry in the basement, that was me inviting her into our home.
Barry still isn't the husband, by the way.
Fuck, you're right. Barry just as a name stands out more to me than Mark. I'm sorry.
I know.
And I know way more Marks than Barry.
I know. Most people do, yeah.
I only know one Mark.
I know. I know
weird,
5 Marks. How many Barrys do I know? I know one Barry.
Maybe that's why it stands out. I don't know any Barrys.
Possibly.
And yet we named a lot of Barrys in the screening.
It's a lot of. We
mentioned Barry White, Barry Bonds, Barack Obama.
Yeah, no, because Jack pointed out that Barry's a very white person name, and then then James and I rushed to name as many blackberries as we could. Blackberries. I didn't even think about that.
Here's a white Barry. Barry Gibb.
I guess just to prove to
Barry
ourselves
Manilow.
That we know blackberries, so we're not racist. I don't know why we did that. Anyway. We just want to say definitively, blackberries, we see you.
And you're delicious.
We feel you. You're
I made that joke too during the screening.
Yep.
And I'm proud of it now as I was.
All right. And then some other shit happens.
Oh, no, the room starts shaking. The dinette shakes a little bit. The
lights?
Because they're sitting around talking about Satan, so Satan just
shakes the light a little.
He shakes the table enough so all the figurines and plates and shit on it
he doesn't break the fucking Hummels. He just jostles them lightly.
Yeah,
that's how you know he's real evil.
Because it's Grandma's house, and she doesn't want you fucking breaking all her shit.
Was that the siege? That's the closest I think we came to a siege in this movie.
The light jostling of evil.
It always brings to mind the thing that always makes me laugh when I'm watching one of those, when I'm watching either a Paranormal Activity or an Insidious or a Conjuring movie and stuff, and the character is sitting there and they're looking and they're going oh my God, I'm so scared, and they're looking around and objects are moving in the room and stuff like that. It's scary until you imagine the actual monster, like, sneaking around going, this is so good. I'm gonna open these cupboards, it's gonna be great.
And he's just, like, standing there going, are you scared yet? Are you scared?
Yeah.
Are you scared?
Yeah.
What if I move this book?
Like, you see, like, a cross on the wall, like, turn around,
Yeah.
and, like, in real life, that would be scary, but if you just imagine, like, a big, dumb demon just going, like...
Oh, not only that, like, the MS Paint smoke ghost comes back again to lift the sister's hair by one strand.
That's
a
right,
little bit.
yes, yeah, it moves
Which-
the hand one strand.
On a fishing wire, so like just do that, but no, they have to actually put in the MS Paint. So you do see the monster manipulating something in the room. It's dumb.
This movie would have been...
But not quite as dumb as they say, okay, well now this place, there's clearly something going on. Let's sleep on it tonight and let's call the guy who wrote the ghost book.
All three of us are in agreement that Satan is real. We're now all Satan believers.
Yeah.
Let's go to bed.
Yeah, there's spooky stuff.
There's nothing that makes me sleepier than knowing that Satan is real and out to destroy my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they even clarify later on that the sister has her own house, and yet she still sleeps on the couch.
It's her dead mother's house, by herself.
Yeah, the snake couch in her dead mother's house.
Yes.
Where Satan is. I'm just saying, she probably deserved to die.
Yeah.
Perfect recipe for sleep. Better than melatonin. Melatonin.
Melatonin?
That's what I'm currently using to get to sleep. Vitamin D.
I wouldn't mind
damn.
Melatonin.
Damn, girl. So Kathy dies that night because she walks to the fucking smoke machine in the backyard and gets lured to the shed and dies.
Is surprised by Rubber-Faced Man, who she falls down on the ground, and we get the DVD cover shot, which of course, you know, like when you fall down and a monster grabs your legs and then pulls you back, you stay perfectly still like a board and don't attempt to fight it whatsoever. I'm going back now.
And the smoke fills the room, and then when it clears, we see that the monster is holding someone else's
yes,
head.
a decapitated head of a blonde woman that looks nothing like the actor, which we just see.
And they just like rub dirt on the face and everything.
If she's dirty enough, they won't notice it's Martha.
Also, that was a scene where, like, a smoke machine was super prominent. We didn't need to get a good, clear shot of the fake head. You could have just had a shot of a head.
With the blonde hair.
You showed us too much of the face.
Yeah, even with all that smoke, we could see how fucking fake that thing looked. So the next day, after having a good night's sleep, and they seem like pretty like non-concerned that the sister's not there anymore.
Yeah, she's not there. I mean, that's not weird at all. You know, it's not like we're dealing with ghosts and Satan and anything like that. I'm just going to eat my maggot Cheerios.
And then Mark, you guys proud of me for that one? Mark says he's going to leave to go donate blood.
Not to like jump ahead or anything like that, but this scene with her eating breakfast and him going to give blood and everything like that, we're like 10 minutes away from the movie being over. A weird thing to include.
Yeah,
I have to leave now.
At this point, you have to like ratchet up the tension a little bit, but they're not even like getting on calling the guy who wrote the ghost book or anything.
No, they never do. It's like I'm gonna contact this guy who wrote the ghost book. Maybe he can tell me some more things about Satan. I'm in no hurry to do this.
Morning, honey. Wasn't there something we were supposed to do today?
Oh man, coffee. I don't know.
This is a great bowl of Cheerios and maggots. Let me just have a good fucking spoonful.
I'll give this movie that one. I'll give the woman in this movie one credit. She did have a mouthful of maggots for this piece of shit movie.
Some woman did.
Someone had a mouthful.
We saw a shot of a spoon filled with Cheerios and maggots go into someone's mouth.
I didn't check to see whether or not there was a mustache on that mouth, so you're probably right.
It's the director with lipstick on it. Because nobody else would do it.
All of the makeup in this movie looks like it was done by, like, the Jersey Shore cast. Like, thick, horrible foundation-colored lipstick, and, like, just, what were you doing? Were you applying it with a mirror?
That brings up, because we're at, like, the climax of the movie, which, much like most of the scary scenes that have taken place over the course of this movie, is in broad daylight. Most of this movie is shot during the day, which is a very odd thing. And I think go ahead, because I think you're about to say what I was about to say.
Nothing is fucking scary in the daytime.
Yeah.
And there's a work around that, like a lot of like bullshit amateur filmmakers do, where they have like a blue filter over everything. It's called day night.
Yeah.
That's not scary either, because you can obviously tell what it is.
And there have
been shoot your movie at night.
There have been creepy movies that are primarily set during the daytime. Midsommar is a creepy movie.
It Follows has a lot of scenes in the daytime.
There we go. Yeah, but you can tell the reason the majority of this movie is set during the day because of the handful of night scenes how badly lit they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't have the budget to be shooting at night. That's for fucking sure.
You can see crew member
Or
shadows
the
in
interest. I'm sure
background.
those actors had kids.
Or at least lives. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, you're not paying me any of this.
Mhm.
Like, I don't really feel like wasting
So
my
Mark
whole
goes
life.
to give blood.
Mm.
While his wife is being tormented by the devil.
Mhm.
He's all like, this is important. My boss's wife
Uh-huh.
has organized this
Why
blood drive.
Why do I do this? Because the boss's wife runs the blood drive.
Oh, but
Yeah.
I hate
Is she
needles.
hot?
Was that even necessary to include? Just like, okay, I'm going to donate blood now because that was something I had
Is
to do.
there no other way you could have gotten Mark out of the house for a little bit? Why did you pick something so convoluted
Yeah.
and confusing?
He could have just left for a pack of smokes and
Yeah.
never came back, like my dad.
Hell, make it a story reason why he had to leave the house. Like, the note mentions that, oh, my sister went back to her home, don't call me. Maybe just have him go over to see if she's okay, because that
Yeah.
ties back into the plot.
There you
So-
go.
would've
That
made
makes
way
a lot
more
more
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
Don't call me. Don't.
That's
try
why
and
I'm the
contact
writer here,
me.
people.
Like,
Did you write Siege of Evil?
Oh,
Are you Jeff Carney?
I'm glad I didn't, because then I would probably be on camera too.
Okay, so she's on the phone with Mark, who is outside of a building that he cannot get into.
Because it's locked on weekends.
Yeah, and she's like, okay, like, you'll be home soon, that's cool. She hangs up the phone, turns around, and Mark is directly behind her. I think she knows that this must be the devil.
she was also buttoning up her pants. She was pulling her pants on, zipping up her pants as she's talking on the phone to her husband, and she just fucked the evil guy, who's also her husband. So she's just like, oh, hey there, Satan. Thanks for the late. Okay, honey, see you later. Click. Like,
You read a lot more into that.
What was that
into
about fucking the
Yeah,
guy?
I don't think she fucked the guy.
She
Unless
was
you read
what?
between the
Okay,
lines.
so he
Is
comes
there
up
no
right
other reason
behind
why
him.
women do up their pants?
hell no. She's
They just
on
always-
a
it's
corded
always
phone.
have sex, okay.
She's on a corded phone. It's hooked up to the kitchen.
She's not just having like a good
She
old
would have
fashioned.
had to take in a 20-foot line to go down to the bathroom, and then that means that she walked back with her pants like down, and then standing there in the kitchen doing her pants up.
You don't think she just rubbed one out really quick when she was on the phone with Mark? Just
After having a
While
multiple-
he was doing his blood drive in
just
front
a
of his
ki-
boss's
just
wife.
just a kitchen quickie.
They were having phone sex while he was in line to get blood.
Nothing gets
But
her
then
out.
I would have been even more weirded out when my husband was behind me. Like, she's not afraid of this guy when he first shows up behind her.
No, she's
so
not-
obviously
she's
they
not
were
as
hanging
afraid
out or
as-
doing
Because I
something.
think she knows that that's not really Mark, so
Yeah.
she's like, oh,
But
I
she's
can't
n-
let this guy know that I know you're not
But
Mark.
she's not as afraid as she should be.
Yeah.
Also, at this point,
Because
she should
just had
realize
sex with him.
the devil is just. She didn't have sex.
She
I mean,
did.
okay, look,
did.
you know what?
She did.
She had sex with him. I'd rather watch the movie you saw than the movie I saw. So she fucked the devil. She fucks the devil, and then she goes on the phone with her husband, and then she's
and then the devil
surprised. when
turns
it's
into Mark?
Yeah, and then she's surprised. That's the movie we watched, yeah. But she's not as surprised as she should be because she just got off the phone with Mark, and when she turns around, she's all like, hi, Mark, how's it going? It's like, no, well, what happened is you turn around, you see Mark, and you go, get out, Satan!
Yeah, she's kind of play it off like, oh, I can't arouse suspicion to know that you're here. But at that point, that's when she
He
grabs...
knows your mind, though. He already knows all of the people you know, so clearly, like, you can't fool the devil.
But this is at the point where, like, you know, she... Let's just say for the sake of argument that, like, she's trying to fool him, like, trying to just play it off like, I don't suspect you as the devil. She should have gone for a knife to go and attack him.
Yeah. She should have.
Mm-hmm.
But she gets the knife instead.
Mark does.
Mark gets the knife.
Yeah,
I mean, and
then chases her out to the car.
But for the climax, it is so remarkably unspectacular and uninteresting to watch. She runs out to the car, realizes she doesn't have the car keys, runs back. She wastes all this time digging through her purse to find the car keys. Take the purse! What are you
It's got
doing?
a strap! You can leave with it!
That's how purses work!
Yeah, while she's in the car, she calls Mark saying, like, oh my god, I'm being attacked in our home by someone who looks like you.
Yeah.
And, you know, he drops everything
This is my second...
Rush home to see his wife.
This is my second favorite visual effect. It cuts to Mark driving on the most obvious green screen I've ever seen in my life, cuts back to Sarah on the phone, cuts back to Mark, and now the camera angle is shooting him from below, and he's not on the green screen anymore.
Yeah, he's clearly driving. What this reeked to me of was they forgot to shoot that first line of him in the car.
Or the first line got, like, corrupted in editing or something, and it's like, we need this shot. But like...
take it from inside the car again.
The way the camera was shot, it's not like he was driving down like a freeway or something. He was clearly just making donuts in a parking lot. So it's like, look, if you didn't get that shot, shoot the scene again. What a headache just to shoot that 2-second moment. Unless they shot it both ways. They shot it like in real life, and then they shot it on a green screen, and then the director just said, you know what? Why not both?
Yeah.
Well, and then there's the fact that you've got the return of the satanic road sign.
Yes,
that's right.
The road sign comes back, which makes me think it's a big part of the fucking demon's plan.
It's the road sign is the mastermind of the situation.
Yeah,
it was his evil plan to begin with.
Road sign. Yeah, and then
Lots of red lights.
Sarah gets killed by the demon mark. And which
Rubber Mask Man.
Rubber Mask Man, yeah, it turns out.
What do you think this mask looks like? It just looks like an old person.
Oh yeah, it's just like a dirty, sun-worn mask with all wrinkles.
This is going to be a super obscure reference. I doubt either of you are going to get it. Have you ever seen Trash Humpers?
No,
certainly not.
It's a Harmony Korine movie that I think he shot on like a handheld camera, and it's just a nonsense movie where 4 people in rubber old masks just run around and like hump dumpsters and like throw things at people, and it's kind of like a pseudo documentary because a lot of the other people don't realize that they're in a movie, and it's just kind of like a prank movie that has no plot. But the mask looks like a trash humper mask. This is what it looks like.
This is a feature film and not just like Jackass?
No, this is an actual feature film from the director of Spring Breakers and The Beach Bum. He just shot it in like the middle of his oeuvre. He just decided he got together with his buddies. Harmony Korine's a weird dude. Yeah, but anyway, so Sarah's stabbed by the trash humper, and then Mark comes home, and the evil snake lady, I'm going to assume she was the snake because her outfit kind of has snake overtones to it.
The ghost lady, yeah.
Transforms into Sarah.
Evil Sarah, yeah.
And then leads Mark into the house, even though Mark is all like, but you just called me. You just did the thing that, like, for the umpteenth fucking time. And she leads Mark into the house, and we can see she has, like, an evil Satan arm. Yeah. And then the movie mercifully ends.
Yep, nothing is resolved.
No.
Evil is not punished or sent back to hell.
There wasn't, like, some bigger overarching theme we were trying to go with. No, they went into a house. Yep. Satan was in the house, and it followed them back, and it killed all of these people, because I guess Satan had a long weekend and nothing else to do.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny to me, too, because, like, when this demon or whatever shapeshifts or jumps bodies, Mark was the only one that had cat eye fucking lenses in. Just like, what's his face from fucking It's Always Sunny? Like, no, I'm gonna go with the cat eye lenses. I think it adds something extra.
But they didn't really frame it in a way where it's like, all 3 of us were kind of all like, we think Mark has cat eyes. We can't be sure, though. Because they never film him from, like, close enough where it's all like, he's a demon now.
He's so, like, slitty, which was just so weird.
He's certainly got a look, that guy, yeah.
He looks like a 4-year-old and a 40-year-old man all at the same time. And his resting face is his eyebrows all the way up in his hairline, like...
all slicked back 80s, Wall Street type guy style.
Yeah,
weird movie. I am not looking forward to the rest of these movies of this collection.
Who knows?
If that is a taste, if Siege of Evil's a taste of what's to come.
I kind of wish whoever wrote Deadly Memories, Only One Good, had given us like 1-word reviews
on
all of these, just so we know like what to expect.
Well, maybe they're listening out there, and you can like specially request that whoever left this green sticker leaves reviews of all those other movies as well.
He's long dead. Yeah. He watched all of these movies and then he died like a day later.
No, I know. I mean, I don't need to question. I know who wrote this.
Really?
Oh, really?
It was Satan! Satan! So that was Siege of Evil, directed by Jeff Carney. No one recommends watching this, right?
Oh, fuck no.
No.
Good
no.
Lord, no.
Not unless you want to, like, lose hours of your time that you will never get back.
Absolute dog shit. And, like, look, I don't want to, like, piss on, like, aspiring young filmmakers who try to, make, like, a cheapy horror movie. I have friends who do literally that, but, like, I can call something dog shit when I see it because I've watched my friends' low-budget zombie indie horror comedies, and, like, they're better than this. They're shot better than this. They're edited better than this. They're certainly acted better than this. So it's like, you can make a movie for no budget. It doesn't have to be shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
do everything that they didn't do in this movie.
I have made like a small handful of homemade movies with my friends. I had a great time doing it, knowing full well that we're going to keep the circle small on this one. We're not going to have a wide release. No one is ever going to see it. We're never going to talk about it again.
Yeah.
Do you suppose this got any sort of wide release? Do you suppose
it's a part of this. This is as wide a release.
this is
as
not
it
a
got.
wide release. This is
a
very.
Walmart
It
release.
made the illustrious Everlasting Evils collection. So
This is like as much of a way to bury a movie as exists.
Yeah.
This is why not.
But
do you
this-
think,
actually,
do you
you know-
think there was a screening of this movie?
I think there was a screening at the guy's house to do this. Yeah, this actually, more than anything, this is a cautionary tale to amateur filmmakers who want to make a goofy movie with their friends. Beware, because someone from a production company may assemble this movie as part of other bullshit homemade movies and put it in a DVD collection to make people suffer.
After the screening, it's all like, this will never see the light of day. And then unbeknownst to the filmmakers, these movies just show up on these collection discs.
No!
And it's all like, I didn't release this dead. How did it get out?
Mm-hmm.
Evil.
The answer is Satan!
Evil. It was a siege of evil.
Great. Jack, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here.
And
having me. This was fun.
I guess we've now roped you into doing this every Halloween now.
I'm down for that.
So, if we all survive 2020 and whatever new horrors 2021 is going to throw at us, I guess we'll be back next year for a return to Everlasting Evils. And you know what? Now that I am aware that you have 2 of them, next year we will do the Ouija board, and
Perfect.
we will summon the spirit of Satan himself.
No, the one that hooks us up with a love and makes us infertile. That one's a little bit more.
Oh,
fun.
okay, cool. We'll ask whatever demon
right.
body is available
I'll
to
donate
choose.
I'll donate some sperm or freeze some sperm before we do that, and they'll be good to go.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool. All right. Do we have to become satanic supporters?
No.
To get the demons to come out of their cells?
I've got some sort of a fundraising thing,
Yeah.
for satanic supporters. We're kind of like Democrats.
Satanic support. Yeah.
I've been to a few metal shows myself, so does that count as me being a Satan supporter?
Definitely,
Yeah, all right.
definitely.
It's all it takes. If you listen to metal,
I've seen Iron Maiden. They're fucking awesome live.
if you've listened to a metal band in your life, Satan has your soul. That's
Okay.
what they've been trying to tell us. That's what Nancy Reagan was trying to tell us all. So, Jack, thank you for coming back.
Thank you.
Do you got anything? You got anything to plug, or anything you've watched recently that you want people to check out?
No. The only thing that I can really plug is, support your local musicians in the ways you can right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a little extra money, go onto Bandcamp, spend some money purchasing, records, or just donate a couple bucks because you like the album or T-shirts or whatever.
Pay
supporting
artists right now. is a
Local
good
artists,
time, yeah.
keeping everything in our local economy is important. So just support each other. Don't be stupid. Wash your hands. Wear a mask, and other stuff.
And don't be racist.
And don't be racist. That's another good one. Yeah, don't be an asshole, or else I'll come kick your ass.
All right. There we
right
go. They all heard that.
Yeah.
Good.
Everyone heard it. We have a very big listener base now, so yes. It's
All
grown-
4 of you heard
grown
it.
significantly. All right. Jameson, what do you got going on?
What I got going on, I'm right around this time of year, much like last year, work's been really ratcheting up for me. So not a whole lot of free time to check out new stuff, new shows, new anything. But I do want to give a shout out to a friend of the show and the guy who I'm doing a Bigfoot cartoon with, Kevin Getz. He has an album out now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's called Kevin Getz on Air. He's been busy working on that for the last little while, rather than helping me work on the cartoon. So everyone go check that out.
Go
It's
check it
either
out.
it's either a comedy album of all his best on the air bits, or it's a rap album and he tries his hand in that, or it's like EDM kind of shit. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck he's doing over there in Toronto. All I know is he's not pulling his weight on the fucking Bigfoot cartoon. Please cut this out.
Do you want me to cut this out as well? All right, cool. I'll totally cut it out.
No.
Not gonna.
No, he knows. I've been fucking hounding him on hey dude, where's that background I asked for?
Cool.
I love
All
you,
right.
Kevin.
All right. Jameson recommends Kevin get his shit together. All right. I'm still doing Tales from the Lost Galaxy, live improvised sci-fi soap opera that you can check out via Alchemy Theater's Twitch stream. We do it every other Sunday. That is going to be wrapping up soon. I think as of right now, we decided that episode after next is going to be the season finale, after which that will be available as a podcast. I'll put all the applicable links to that so people can check that out who are listening to this. And I also want to, I forgot the word, promote. What is, I just said it.
Shout out.
Pitch. Is that it? I don't know.
Plug?
Plug! Thank you, I knew it was a P word! I also...
You work at a butt plug factory and you forgot the word plug. I love it.
That is a valid point. That is...
Is that one of the products?
Most valid
is that
points.
the name of one of the products you sell? The valid point?
The valid point. I'm going to pitch that on Monday. I'm going to go back and pitch that. So far, they haven't taken any of my ideas yet, but that's a really good one. That's a really good one. No, I want to plug a friend of ours, friend of the podcast and past guest, Nick Rinka, who was on the show. When he was on the show, he was a struggling voiceover artist, is now a paid professional voiceover artist. He is in a video game called Wintermore Tactics Club. He is doing a couple of voices in that. Wintermore Tactics Club is a story about surviving high school with gameplay inspired by tactics, RPGs, and visual novels, and that is available on PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. So, download that, buy that game, and hear him, and remember where he started.
Way to go, Nick.
Am I saying that he has us to thanks for his current career?
Oh, he knows.
I'm not saying that. Yeah, and that's the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thanks again to Joel Flynn and Luke Schuss over at Podstream Studios for having us over here. Check us out on Instagram at the F Is This Podcast, which, as of this morning, we now have over 600 followers.
Hey, how about that?
So, thank you for what
I hear if we get 1,000, we get something good.
Yeah. Instagram is very weird. I didn't realize this was a thing, but I've always wanted to, include posts and then include active links to the podcast, to the YouTube episodes, but apparently you can't do that if you don't have 1,000 followers. Oh. So if you're listening to this, spread the word. Most of our followers are other podcasts, which I'm going to have to start listening to so I can start plugging those on the show as well. Thanks for everyone to listening, and as we say at the end of every episode, and have always said at the end of every episode since the beginning.
Jack, this is a new thing. Since the last time we were on a show, Kaz developed a really stupid sign-off phrase.
I don't know what you're talking about. We've always used this sign-up phrase. You can go back and check that out. Anyway, thanks for listening. You stay toasty, Detective Frogs. I had to think about what it was, because as I was saying, I'm like, I don't remember what it was.
Go
listen to the episode. It's too hard to explain. I don't know. Anyway, stay toasty, Detective Frogs.
You should have seen Jack's reaction when you first went to eyebrows went up.
I don't know what you're talking. I'm just going to gaslight all of you. I'm going to go back and I'm going to edit that catchphrase into all of the old episodes. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We've always said that. We said that before we watched the movie that influenced it. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. We should have ended a while ago. So.
I go in kitchen. May go into Chinese family secret, make you forget your trouble.